You can be busy from morning to night, juggling responsibilities and chasing after one task after another, and still feel like you are drifting aimlessly through life. Oh, true purpose is not measured by how many things you do, but by whether the things you are doing have meaning. It is about living with direction, with an inner compass that points you toward what really matters most. Busyness has a way of giving us the illusion of progress. You can run on a treadmill for hours and sweat as if you have traveled a great distance, but when you step off, you are still in the exact same place. That is how life feels when it is filled with endless activities without a sense of purpose. You might wake up each morning, rush to work, run errands, attend meetings, take care of your family, scroll through social media, and go to bed exhausted. But when you pause to reflect, you realize you are moving but not moving forward. Purpose changes that phrase. Purpose is what takes you off the treadmill and puts you on a path. It gives you not just motion, but direction. Living with direction means you have an answer to the deeper questions of life. You are not just asking, what do I need to get done today? But why am I doing this in the first place? Purpose makes the difference between chores and calling, between routine and mission. When you know why you are doing something, even the smallest tasks can feel significant. Washing dishes, caring for a child, showing up to work, encouraging a friend. These are no longer meaningless duties. They are meaningful expressions of living in alignment with who you are meant to be and the values you hold dear. Without purpose, success itself can feel hollow. Imagine someone who has worked their entire life climbing the ladder of achievement. They sacrifice time, relationships, and health in pursuit of recognition or wealth. One day they reach the top and realize the ladder has been leaning against the wrong wall. They have what they thought they wanted, but still feel empty inside. That is the tragedy of confusing busyness with purpose. You can achieve a lot and still miss the very thing your soul longs for. But when you live with direction, even if your achievements are not as glamorous, your heart is at peace because you know you are walking the path that was meant for you. Busyness also distracts us from the things that matter most. Think about how often we rush through life ignoring relationships, overlooking opportunities to be present, and neglecting our inner well-being because we are so focused on getting things done. The irony is that many of the things that make life meaningful, connection, kindness, reflection, love, cannot be checked off a to-do list. They require presence, not productivity. Purpose helps us slow down and pay attention. It calls us to invest in people rather than projects, in moments rather than minutes, in meaning rather than motion. Another reason why purpose is so different from busyness is that busyness tends to drain you, while purpose energizes you. You can be incredibly busy and feel exhausted as though life is pulling the life out of you. But when you are living with direction, even if you are working hard, you feel alive. You wake up with enthusiasm instead of dread. You endure difficulties with resilience because you know they are part of a bigger picture. Work becomes more than effort. It becomes an offering. Challenges become more than obstacles. They become opportunities. When you are fueled by purpose, you don't burn out as quickly because you are not running on empty effort, but on meaningful intention. Purpose also brings alignment to life. Without it, you might live fragmented, trying to be everything to everyone, pulled in 100 directions. With purpose, there is a unifying thread that weaves together all your roles and responsibilities. Whether you are at work, at home, in your community, or by yourself, you are guided by the same underlying values. That alignment brings peace because you are no longer scattered. You are whole. People can sense the difference in someone who lives this way. They radiate a calm assurance that comes from knowing they are on the right path. Living with purpose also helps us make better decisions. When you are busy, you often say yes to everything just to keep moving. That leads to overwhelm, resentment, and exhaustion. But when you live with direction, you have a filter. You can ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? Does this bring me closer to what matters most? If the answer is no, you can let it go without guilt. Saying no to the wrong things gives you the space to say yes to the right ones. Purpose simplifies life because it clarifies priorities. You no longer have to chase every opportunity or please every person. You just have to remain faithful to the path you were meant to walk. What's beautiful about living with purpose is that it doesn't require extraordinary circumstances. You don't have to wait until you have the perfect job, the perfect family, or the perfect situation. You can live with direction right where you are. Purpose is not found in someday. It is practiced in today. Every conversation, every choice, every interaction becomes an opportunity to live with intention. The person who understands this secret doesn't just survive the days, they live them fully because they know that meaning is not in how much you do, but in why you do. Asking yourself why you are alive today may sound like a deep, almost intimidating question, but it is one of the most practical questions you can carry with you into daily life. Too often, people imagine that purpose is reserved for special moments or dramatic turning points, but the truth is, purpose is discovered and lived out in the ordinary moments of each day. The secret is to pause long enough to ask, why am I here right now? That single question has the power to shift your perspective from drifting through routines to intentionally choosing how you will invest the hours ahead. When you wake up in the morning, you have two options. You can treat the day as another blur in an endless cycle of days, or you can recognize that this day is unlike any other. It has never existed before, and it will never come again. Asking why you are alive today brings awareness to that uniqueness. It helps you realize that time is not just something to spend. It is something to steward. Every hour is like a seed that can either be wasted on distractions or planted in the soil of purpose where it grows into something meaningful. The question of why am I alive today? That also helps shift your focus from survival to significance. Many people go through their routines on autopilot, just trying to get through the day. They get up, do what is required, and collapse into bed at night without ever lifting their eyes to see the bigger picture. But when you ask yourself why you are alive today, you open the door to meaning. It is not about just surviving the day, but about making the day count. Even if your circumstances feel small or ordinary, you can find ways to live with intention. A kind word spoken to a stranger, an act of patience in the middle of frustration, a moment of reflection before rushing into your tasks, these small, intentional choices become the threads of a purposeful life. Asking that question also helps anchor you when distractions try to pull you in every direction. The world is loud with demands, notifications, and opportunities that promise fulfillment, but often lead to emptiness. Without a guiding question, you can easily find yourself saying yes to everything and scattering your energy on things that do not matter. But when you pause to ask why you are alive today, you are reminded to align your actions with what truly matters. It acts like a compass pointing you back to your true north. You don't have to live reacting to every noise around you. You can live responding to the deeper call within you. Another power of this daily question is that it redefines success. Many people measure success in terms of achievements, possessions, or recognition. But when you ask, why am I alive today? Success becomes about faithfulness to the purpose of this particular day. It is no longer about doing everything or impressing everyone. It is about living today in alignment with what you are meant to do. That may mean finishing a project with excellence, or it may mean taking time to encourage someone who is struggling. Both can be equally significant if they flow from your purpose. This shift frees you from comparison and pressure because you understand that your purpose is not about being better than others, but about being true to the calling of this moment. The question also invites humility. By asking why you are alive today, you acknowledge that your life is not random. There is a reason for your presence here in this place at this time. You are part of a larger story, and your role matters. That recognition keeps you from dismissing your life as insignificant or accidental. It helps you see that you have something to contribute, even if it is as simple as showing kindness, practicing integrity, or offering encouragement. Each day becomes an opportunity to step into that role with intention. This practice also transforms how you view challenges. Difficulties and setbacks are often seen as interruptions, but when you live with the awareness of purpose, you begin to see them as opportunities. Asking why you are alive today allows you to frame challenges differently. Instead of saying, oh, why is this happening to me? You can ask, how is this part of my purpose today? That shift gives strength in the face of hardship. It turns struggles into teachers, pain into growth, and obstacles into stepping stones. Every difficulty becomes a chance to demonstrate resilience, compassion, or faithfulness. Oh, faithfulness. Living with this question also keeps you present. Too many people live trapped in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. They miss the only time they truly have, the present moment. But asking why you are alive today brings your attention back to now. It grounds you in the reality that today matters. You may not have control over yesterday, and tomorrow is not guaranteed, but today is in your hands, and if you treat it with intention, it can carry meaning that echoes far beyond its 24 hours. There is also a simplicity that comes from this daily practice. Life can feel overwhelming when you try to figure out your entire future at once. People spend years searching for their ultimate purpose as though it is one giant mystery waiting to be solved. But the truth is, purpose is lived out one day at a time. Asking why you are alive today removes the pressure of having to figure out everything all at once. Instead, it allows you to focus on what you can do right now in this moment, to live faithfully and intentionally. Over time, those daily choices build into a life of purpose. Ultimately, this simple yet profound question keeps your heart centered and your actions aligned. It turns each day into an opportunity instead of an obligation, a gift instead of a grind. By asking it consistently, you remind yourself that life is not random or meaningless, and that every day has the potential to matter if you choose to live it with intention. Clarity and consistency are two pillars that sustain a life of purpose, and without them, even the strongest intentions can fade into confusion or inconsistency. Clarity gives you the ability to see what truly matters, to separate the noise of distractions from the voice of direction. Consistency gives you the strength to keep walking in that direction day after day, even when the excitement wears off and no one is watching. Together, they transform lofty ideas of purpose into a steady rhythm of meaningful living. Clarity begins with the courage to be honest about what matters most to you. Many people live their lives chasing after goals they never chose for themselves. They follow cultural expectations, family pressures, or the endless advertisements that tell them what success should look like. The result is often a life that feels crowded but not fulfilling. Clarity requires you to step back and ask, what am I really living for? What do I want my life to stand for? Those are not easy questions, but they are essential if you want your purpose to be authentic rather than borrowed. Without clarity, you may spend years climbing ladders of success only to discover they are leaning against the wrong wall. Once you begin to see clearly, the next step is to let go of what does not align with that vision. Life has a way of pulling us in many directions, and not every path is worth walking. Clarity gives you the power to say no. It teaches you that not every opportunity is your opportunity. Not every invitation deserves your yes, and not every demand is worthy of your attention. This can be difficult because it often feels easier to please everyone, to take on everything, and to avoid disappointing others. But the truth is, if you don't define your priorities, someone else will. Clarity empowers you to make choices that are aligned with your deeper purpose, even when those choices require sacrifice. But clarity on its own is fragile. Many people experience moments of insight where they feel inspired about what matters most, but then they return to old habits and the clarity fades. That is why consistency is equally important. Consistency is the discipline of living out your clarity day after day. It is about choosing the path of purpose, not just once, but repeatedly in both big and small decisions. It is the quiet determination to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. While clarity tells you where to go, consistency is what actually gets you there. Consistency is powerful because it compounds over time. A single act of intention may feel small, but repeated daily, it becomes transformative. Think of someone planting seeds. One seed may not look like much, but planting a seed every day eventually creates a garden. Consistency in living out your values works the same way. A single moment of kindness may not change the world, but kindness practiced consistently can change the atmosphere of your home, your workplace, and your community. Purpose is not built in one grand gesture. It is built in the faithful repetition of small, intentional choices. One of the biggest challenges to consistency is the lack of immediate results. We live in a world addicted to instant gratification, and when we do not see quick progress, we are tempted to quit. But living with purpose requires patience. Consistency means trusting the process even when the results are invisible. It means believing that every step in the right direction matters, even if no one else notices. Purposeful living is not about dramatic moments of breakthrough, but about ordinary days lived with extraordinary faithfulness. Another challenge is discouragement. Life will not always cooperate with your plans. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments when you wonder if living with purpose is worth the effort. This is where clarity and consistency reinforce each other. Clarity reminds you why you began in the first place. Consistency gives you the strength to keep going even when motivation fades. Together, they create resilience. Without clarity, you lose sight of your why. Without consistency, you never reach your destination. With both, you can endure challenges without losing direction. Clarity and consistency also protect you from distraction. The modern world is full of noise with countless voices competing for your attention. Every day you are bombarded with messages telling you what you should buy, who you should be, and what you should value. Without clarity, you get swept along with the current of popular opinion. Without consistency, you may know what matters but fail to live it out. But when clarity and consistency work together, they act like anchors, holding you steady amid the storms of distraction. You can engage with the world without being consumed by it because you know who you are, where you are going, and how you are choosing to walk there. These two qualities also shape the legacy you leave behind. People often think legacy is built through extraordinary accomplishments, but in truth, it is shaped by the consistent pattern of your daily life. Children, friends, colleagues, and communities remember not just what you said once, but how you lived repeatedly. No. They notice whether your actions matched your words, whether you were the same person in public and in private, whether you lived with integrity over the long haul. Clarity defines the values you want to pass on. Consistency ensures those values are seen and experienced by others. It is important to remember that clarity and consistency are not about perfection. No one gets it right all the time. There will be days of confusion and moments of failure. But a life of purpose is not defined by never stumbling. It is defined by continually realigning and recommitting. Clarity helps you refocus when you drift. Consistency helps you get back up when you fall. Over time, this rhythm creates a steady, trustworthy life that reflects purpose in both direction and practice. Purpose at its core is never just about what you gain for yourself, but about what you give beyond yourself. Many people spend their lives chasing personal fulfillment, imagining that if they can just earn enough money, gather enough recognition, or achieve enough success, they will finally feel complete. Yet again and again, stories emerge of those who have reached the top by the world's standards and still confess an emptiness inside. The reason is simple. Fulfillment cannot be found in self-absorption. A life centered only on self becomes small, while a life centered on contribution becomes expansive and meaningful. Living with purpose means asking not only a what do I want, but what can I offer? It shifts the focus from self to service, from consuming to contributing. This does not mean you neglect your own needs or ambitions, but it does mean you recognize that the deepest joy is not found in accumulation, but in generosity. Contribution takes many forms. It could be offering encouragement, sharing wisdom, extending kindness, providing resources, or simply being present for someone who needs you. The scale does not matter. What matters is that you are living beyond yourself. When people live only for self-fulfillment, they often find their satisfaction short-lived. A new possession excites them for a while, but soon it loses its shine. An achievement brings applause, but eventually the applause fades. The pursuit of personal pleasure or recognition becomes a cycle that never truly satisfies. But when your life is oriented toward contribution, the rewards go deeper. You find yourself part of something bigger than you, and that connection brings lasting meaning. The joy of knowing you made someone's burden lighter or someone's day brighter has a way of filling your own heart in ways that self-indulgence never can. Contribution also redefines the way you view your skills and resources. Instead of asking, what can these do for me? You begin to ask, how can these serve others? Your talents become tools, your resources become opportunities, and your experiences, both good and painful, become lessons that can help someone else. Even your struggles can become a gift when you share what you have learned through them. Purpose transforms personal victories into shared encouragement and personal wounds into sources of healing for others. Another powerful aspect of living for contribution is that it breaks the grip of comparison. I could read when life is about self-fulfillment, it is easy to measure yourself against others, always wondering if you have as much as they do, if you are as successful, as admired, or as accomplished. This mindset breeds insecurity and envy. But when life is about contribution, the competition disappears. You no longer need to outdo anyone else. You just need to give what you have to give. Your focus is not on being better than others, but on being faithful with what is in your hands. That freedom allows you to celebrate others' successes without feeling threatened and to walk in your own lane with peace. Contribution also strengthens relationships. At the heart of every meaningful connection is the willingness to give. Friendships thrive not on how much you take from one another, but on how much you give to each other. Families grow strong when each member contributes love, patience, and sacrifice. Communities become vibrant when individuals invest their time and energy for the common good. Living with purpose means choosing to invest in relationships rather than treating them as transactional. When you contribute your presence, your attention, and your heart, you create bonds that outlast circumstances and enrich everyone involved. Living for contribution does not always mean doing something dramatic or public. Some of the greatest impacts are made in quiet, unnoticed ways. A teacher who patiently guides a struggling student, a neighbor who checks in on the elderly, a parent who listens carefully to a child, a worker who treats colleagues with dignity. These acts may never make headlines, but they ripple outward in powerful ways. Contribution is not measured by scale, but by sincerity. What seems small to you may be life-changing to someone else. It is also important to recognize that contribution is not limited to what you do, but also to who you are. Your character, your attitude, and the way you carry yourself can be a gift to others. When you live with integrity, you inspire trust. When you live with compassion, you inspire kindness. When you live with courage, you inspire strength. Purposeful contribution is not only about giving things, but about being the kind of person whose presence makes others better. Contribution, however, requires intentionality. The natural pull of human nature is towards self-preservation and self-interest. Left unchecked, life easily becomes centered on me. But when you choose to live for contribution, you resist that pull and train yourself to look outward. It may begin with small decisions, choosing to listen instead of talking, choosing to serve instead of waiting to be served, choosing to encourage instead of criticize. Over time, these small acts become habits, and those habits shape a life marked by generosity. Finally, contribution ensures that your life leaves a legacy. The possessions you collect will not last, and the achievements you chase may be forgotten, but the lives you touch will carry your impact forward. The love you give, the wisdom you share, the kindness you extend, these line in others long after you're gone. Purposeful living is not about what you take with you, but about what you leave behind. The measure of your life is not how much you held on to, but how much you gave away. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces that can transform the way you live with purpose each day. It changes the way you see your circumstances, the way you interpret challenges, and the way you interact with others. When you approach life with gratitude, even the most ordinary moments become opportunities for meaning. You stop waiting for perfect conditions to feel thankful and begin to recognize that every day, no matter how simple or difficult, carries within it the gift of life itself. Gratitude keeps your heart anchored in what is true and important, and it helps you avoid the trap of constantly chasing after what you do not have. Living with gratitude does not mean ignoring struggles or pretending everything is easy. It means that in the midst of struggles, you choose to notice what is still good. You notice the breath in your lungs, the people who support you, the lessons hidden in your challenges, and the opportunities to grow. Gratitude reframes the narrative of your life. Instead of seeing only problems, you begin to see possibilities. Instead of being consumed by what is lacking, you learn to appreciate what is present. This shift is crucial for living with purpose because it allows you to see value in every single day rather than waiting for some distant moment to feel fulfilled. When gratitude becomes a daily habit, it shapes your perspective toward others as well. Instead of taking people for granted, you begin to notice their contributions, their kindness, and their presence in your life. This awareness deepens relationships because it fosters appreciation and humility. People feel valued when gratitude is expressed, and relationships built on gratitude are stronger, healthier, and more life-giving. Living with purpose requires community, and gratitude is one of the keys that keeps that community alive. Gratitude also protects you from bitterness and discouragement. Life inevitably brings seasons of disappointment, times when plans do not work out, and moments when losses feel overwhelming. Without gratitude, those seasons can harden your heart and steal your sense of meaning. But gratitude softens your spirit. It reminds you that even when some things are taken away, not everything is lost. It helps you hold on to hope and continue walking with purpose, even in the darkest times. Gratitude does not erase pain, but it prevents pain from becoming the only story you tell yourself. Another powerful impact of gratitude is that it cultivates contentment. In a world that constantly tells you to want more, achieve more, and acquire more, contentment is a radical act. Gratitude helps you realize that purpose is not about having everything, but about appreciating and making the most of what you have been given. Contentment frees you from envy and comparison because you are no longer measuring your worth against others. You can celebrate their successes without resenting them, and you can focus on your own path without distraction. This kind of contentment allows you to live with greater peace and clarity, which strengthens your ability to walk in your purpose consistently. Gratitude also fuels resilience. When you can recognize blessings in the midst of hardship, you develop the strength to keep going. You realize that even in loss, there are lessons, and even in failure, there is growth. Gratitude reminds you that the story is not over and that every day still offers something valuable. This resilient mindset keeps you from giving up too soon. It gives you the endurance to live with purpose through seasons that test your resolve. The practice of gratitude can be simple, but its effects are profound. It may be as small as pausing in the morning to recognize the gift of a new day, or ending the night by reflecting on 3 things you're thankful for. It may be taking time to thank someone for their help, or noticing the beauty in your surroundings. These small practices, repeated daily, shape your outlook and transform the way you live. Gratitude creates a rhythm of awareness that keeps you attuned to the meaning embedded in your life. Ultimately, gratitude ties together all the other aspects of purposeful living. It gives direction, meaning, it sustains consistency, it fuels contribution, and it grounds clarity. Without gratitude, purpose can become duty and life can feel heavy. But with gratitude, purpose becomes joy and life becomes lighter. Gratitude is what turns ordinary days into sacred opportunities and challenges into stepping stones for growth. So when you wake up each day, choose gratitude. Choose to see the gift in front of you, to honor the people around you, and to recognize the meaning woven into every circumstance. Gratitude will open your eyes to opportunities you might otherwise overlook. It will give strength to your steps, and it will fill your heart with peace. And when you live with gratitude, you will find that your life is not only more purposeful, but also more joyful, more resilient, and more impactful. Gratitude is not just an attitude, it is the lens that brings your purpose into focus and the fuel that keeps you walking in it every single day.